What's up, y'all? Welcome back. I'm coming to you today with something a little bit new that I'm kind of excited about. Over the last several months, I've really been leaning into my role as a facilitator of dope conversations, my role and my interest as a facilitator of dope conversations, and as someone who's capturing these conversations for the purpose of sharing them and sort of really interrogating narratives and challenging these narratives as well. And so the first opportunity I really had to do this and sort of put it out was Black Broad Branch Project, was what that first kind of podcast was around, and that's coming very, very soon, so stay tuned. The second opportunity I had to really convene some dope conversations came on the 1st of February. I partnered with Miss Trinice McNally, who is the founder and director of the Center for Diversity, Inclusion, and Multicultural Affairs at the University of the District of Columbia, where I am an assistant professor of political science. And so I reached out to Miss McNally, and I've been thinking about ways to kind of expand the conversation I've been having in my Black feminism class, sparked by one of my favorite television series, Lovecraft Country, at episode 5, which is titled A Strange Case. That's been a really wonderful jumpstart to some interesting discussions in my Black feminism class. By way of background, there's a character called Ruby. Ruby is a Black woman, and Ruby is given a potion that allows her to live her life as a white woman. And so it's very interesting grappling with questions of race, identity, privilege, as a Black woman, but then still having a Black woman sort of mind, being presented with all of this privilege, all of this power for getting to live as a white woman, presents some interesting challenges for Ruby. And so what we get to do in the Black feminism class is really examine, how these identities respond to systems of dominance, and then how once we get access to systems of dominance, how we can perpetuate, even when we're in sort of marginalized communities, how we can perpetuate that same harm, making very clear that we're not exempt, as Black folks, as women, as queer folks, we're not exempt from perpetuating harm. And watching Lovecraft Country and watching this episode is a really great opportunity to see sort of what that looks like in some provocative ways. So not only are you dealing with the character of Ruby, who's having to make some choices, living her life as a white woman and understanding a Black world, you also have the character of Montrose. Montrose is a queer Black man played by the late great Michael K. Williams. There's a scene in episode 5 where Montrose shows up to his partner's house after having had a fight with his son earlier in the episode, and Sammy, the partner, asks him, was it the O-phase or the niggas this time? I love sort of highlighting this particular point because it gives us a sense of what it's like to be in a marginalized group and then be marginalized within that group. And so Sammy is letting us know off the bat that Montrose is facing a challenge both as a Black man in a segregated city in 1955. And so he's facing an interracial sort of issue, but also the homophobia that's existing during that time. He's facing it from within his own community as well. Ruby says something early in the episode. She's talking to William. It's a whole thing. Watch the episode and that will make sense. But she's talking to William and she's saying, most days I don't mind being colored or a woman. But the world keeps interrupting me and I'm sick and tired of being interrupted. And so our conversation on the 1st of February, which was for Welcome Back Wednesday, and it was sort of the beginning of the university's Black History Month programming, our question was around sort of, who are you uninterrupted? Who are you not having to sort of live within the confines that are externally imposed on us from these systems that we're all sort of subject to? What you're about to see is really just a snippet of what was really a very great conversation, a really robust conversation among some students in my Black feminism and senior seminar classes. I hope you watch the episode. I hope you enjoy this conversation, and I look forward to giving you a little bit more like this. So Let's get to it.
I don't know what is more difficult, being colored or being a woman. Most days I'm happy to be both, but the world keeps interrupting, and I am sick of being interrupted.
Old jittery Marcus, like, hi, how you doing? And how how society expects you to be, and how you're perceived to, talk like a certain way, proper way. And I didn't do that. I went into that interview both times being my authentic self. However,
but my experience of trying to figure out how to navigate this space was definitely impacted by, a system of white male patriarchy. It's a white male capitalist, patriarchy. Mm-hmm. But to the point of being interrupted or uninterrupted, I just expect those things to happen in every facet of life, even with systems.
I'm working for ANC Commission since 2010. Always working with white people. They have everything and they exclude me. Easy. They are white people, and the minute they say no, this guy, because they include something for Columbia Heights, they was vice chair, and she's has a very good relationship. She is the chair. They exclude me. What happened? When they called me yesterday. Oh, we working with the council member Nadiu people. Say, is you possibly coming in the last minute? I'm sorry, I'm busy.
I've been interrupted since birth.
So you expect that. You go through life with that expectation and the preparation for it.
To the best of my ability to manage my expectations.
Okay.
And see, I don't look at something of saying what is interrupted to me. I look at it as though I am saying, whatever comes, I don't expect it, but when it comes, I deal.
The person was political, right? Bill Hooks taught us that. I'm pushing you all to think a little deeper about the question.
So when you say systems,
you interrupted? Okay. Or how are you interrupted? What interrupts you?
Think about like trans folks, right, who might have gone but been like worried about passing on. Like, yes, this is me in my true self, but like if I get clocked as not being cis, what's gonna happen to me in this space?
Montrose knows like what he is, right? Like he understands his sexuality in private and with his partner.
But not in the open.
But he can't do it. Like he just can't, even in a safe space, even in a room that's supposed to be for him.
Right. I'm always dressed, and and I went to work like this, and I felt interrupted because they all looked at me really weird, like, what are you in? Why are you at work like this and this? And I'm saying to myself, it's a dress down day. What's the difference? It interrupted my spirit, because I had to look and say, okay, well, don't wear this again.
What's the system that told you that how you showed up to work, despite your faculties, despite being perfectly competent in whatever the work you're doing, that how you showed up to work today needed to be changed?
I guess because I've never come in like that. I'm working with all military. I don't.
There's an expectation that they were setting against
you. Right. To say.
Where does it come from? Where does it come from?
I guess it comes from, leadership. It comes from it comes from me because of the way I've always came in.
So like white supremacy shapes and molds a lot of things. So when I was in the Army, you had to be a certain height and weight. Black and Latino women don't fit this height and weight standard. So the system was set by
white men.
White men.
Participate in them, right? Like the police, like respectability, like elitism, right? We want to participate because we benefit from those systems, but we're still angry and don't know what to do with the anger.
One particular time, I jumped back up to the jittery Marcus. I'm going to be that person. And then I noticed that it changed the scope. It made the other folks on the other end feel comfortable. But I realized I'm not that person anymore. I want to be my authentic self. So that totally interrupted, my situation, what I had going on with my new brand, which is being my authentic self. So moving forward, I've been on this job for about 18 months. It's an excellent job. And I got hired as my authentic self. And I will not let no one interrupt it.